I'm excited to be with Charles Matthew of Merchants Fleet. Good to see you again, Charles.
Good seeing you, Chris.
We certainly all lived through 2021, 2022, and then by the end of 2023, supply kind of eased up a little bit, but there's still kind of pockets of supply chain issues. Where do we see the most issues right now?
Yes, so on the lighter duty vehicles or your mid-sized pickup trucks, the most of the constraints is around hybrid vehicles.
Hybrid, yeah.
So where OEMs have either built out those hybrid products or they're taking longer to build because of the surge in demand.
Yeah.
So that's where we're seeing it on the lighter duty vehicles,
okay,
but
yeah.
more on the medium and heavy side.
Right.
Anywhere from like Class 7, Class 8, or even Class 6, we're not seeing a whole lot of constraints.
Well, the EPA 2027 might affect Class 7 and 8.
Yes,
yeah.
so that is on our radar. We don't have a solidified plan of where the EPA is. Currently there's discussions about EPA mandating more stricter nitrogen oxide,
right.
NOx requirements that would require a more expensive engine that can cycle through emissions and so forth, that could add a premium of $10,000 to $15,000
right.
on your diesel engine. So we're here on the trade floor. A lot of our Class 7, Class 8 OEMs are here.
Yeah.
So we're having those discussions. And how is there an opportunity to pre-plan? Can we look at 2026 engines? Like how is that looking?
Yeah.
And how should we help our customer kind of augment or plan for 2027?
Sure.
So although it's not a OEM engine constraint,
right.
it's a compliance thing that can drive a lot of questions. Yeah. But also you're for 2027, the newer engines may require a bigger learning curve, not only for us,
right.
but also for technicians that work on the vehicle.
For sure.
What kind of downtime and things like that could we potentially experience?
Really good point.
So those are the things that we're trying to understand now in 2026, just to get ahead of it.
Well, we certainly went through that with learning about DPFs, right?
Yes, the DEF tanks and so forth, yes.
Yeah, for sure. So how about cargo vans? How are we looking there?
Cargo vans are looking great from an OEM perspective in terms of minimal constraints to no constraints. They're getting built pretty fast, but we are seeing a higher demand on the cargo van side.
Okay.
One OEM is going to be building out theirs in May. We're predicting another OEM will probably build out in June, and then that leaves you with a third OEM that may push out their build out for 26 model year. But we're already kind of thinking like, what does 2027 look like? But our advice and our consultation to clients is, if you're thinking about ordering, place those orders now.
Okay, well, Ram just came out and announced the ProMaster City, a small van.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's got to have some of your clients excited to get back into a small van.
Yes, there was always a demand for what are we going to do, because the small cargo vans have left the space. So the clients were thinking about doing some creative things, like buying a minivan, removing the seats, maybe use that as like a cargo van, or
right.
buying mid-sized pickup trucks or even small-sized pickup trucks and kind of doing a retrofit.
Put a cap on it.
But with the announcement of ProMaster City this week at NTA, we are getting a lot of inquiries, especially from our sales team, because our clients are asking, when is it going to be released? When are the specs and pricing coming out?
Yeah.
Where is it going to be built, and so forth? So we're working with our with our Stellantis partner to get all of that information, and it seems like the ProMaster City is being, I believe, for Q3, ordering.
Q3, Q4 ordering.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Q4.
Got it. Yeah.
I believe it's Q4.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
But we want to start. We should start getting specs and so forth fairly soon.
Start it now.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. On the upfitting side, are we seeing any constraints there?
No, we're seeing minimal constraints because we're looking at our order to delivery data. The upfitters are getting most of the major components in time. Some of the challenges were around lift gates a few years ago, where it was taking 20 weeks.
Yeah.
Now it's taking 4 weeks, 6 weeks. So they've significantly cut it. But however, the constraint may be related to OEM recalls that's currently in play.
OEM recalls, right. And how does that really affect? Obviously, they have to ground those units to get the recall.
Yes, so they can. So our outfit partners can work on the vehicle, but it will limit the spacing, meaning that the vehicles are grounded, so they may have to stay stay at the upfitter's location.
Yeah.
And that can create a potential bottleneck where
yeah.
they may not be able to bring in more vehicles or even deploy more vehicles because of the spacing constraints. So there are some hardships around that with our upfit partners because it could create a potential backlog.
Okay, and kind of rounding out the supply chain, I mean, I guess with the current issues in the Middle East, I mean, that there may be a spill-off effect with part components, or how do you see that?
Yeah,
playing
so
out?
right now we have not seen anything, right, because it's so new. It's only, I believe, like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah, sure.
But it is something that we need to watch because it impacts oil. And oil is not just fueling your vehicles or giving energy to run your engines or fueling, but petroleum is also used to make components or run industries and so forth, right? And we've seen with previous events, there is a compounding effect in the supply chain, right?
Yeah.
So when is it going to creep into our world?
Yep.
Or is it? Or is it going to be short term, long term? But we've known historically, even a day of impact can boil in. A day of a geopolitical impact can boil over to days or weeks in the supply chain.
Okay,
right. So right now we're just in the monitor, wait and see mode. But again, if you, our advice to our customers, like if you're thinking about ordering, let's get those orders in now, because sooner you order from a sourcing perspective from an OEM and upfitters, the quicker they can get those parts.
Sure, and hey, last question, how about upfit flexibility? I mean, I think one of the themes is the ability to upfit a van and easily turn it into something else if you need something else for maybe seasonality. How do you guys see that playing out?
Yeah, we're trying to see, we're looking into any type of modular type upfits.
Yeah.
How we can scale it.
Right.
What I mean by that, there are cost advantage to swap out materials possibly, or whether that's seasonality or whether that's within your order cycle.
So like shelving.
It could be toolboxes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sortimo has like a product line that could be modular, that can be changed. How do we deploy that when a client is trying to cycle out their vehicle in scale, right? Because there's different geographic locations, there's things to consider because you need the new vehicle and the old vehicle. Like, would there be room to even do something?
Do a swap.
Do a swap.
Right,
So,
I see,
so we need to. There's a lot more planning involved, and we need
Fair
to see
enough.
what that looks like. And we may be able to do it for some customers, but maybe not all.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts to figure out, but some opportunity there to look at. And a year from now, I guess we'll reconvene and see how it's going. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Charles, for all
thank
the
you, Chris.
information.
Good seeing you again.
For sure.